call the roll?
Mr. West.
Present.
Mrs. Werke.
Here.
Mrs. Paprocki.
Here.
Mr. Rare. Here. Mrs. Gray.
Here. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda for the board meeting?
I do have to amend it. I need to amend section E, number 6, taking my name off of volunteer coaching for baseball this year. So I'm gonna go ahead and need to take that off tonight if you could.
We have a motion to amend the agenda to remove Corey West from new business E6. Second. Bill made the motion, Lisa second. Any discussion? Mr. Schenkel, can you please call the roll?
Mr. West.
Yes.
Mrs. Werke.
Yes.
Mrs. Paprocki.
Yes.
Mr. Rare.
Yes.
Mrs. Gray.
Yes. I'd like to call for a moment of silence as we face this new year and think about our nation during this time. Thank you. Please stand while GHS Principal Stephanie Walker leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome Ms. Walker to introduce student achievement for this month at GHS.
Absolutely. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for inviting me back. It's always fun to be able to stand up here and recognize the wonderful students that we have at Goshen High School. So it's twofold tonight. One is recognition and celebration, and the other is talking about opportunities that we provide for our students. So we'll get into more of that. I usually am the talker. You know, I love to talk, and Mr. Bailey tries to make me stop sometimes, but today I'm going to roll it over or turn it over to my students and staff to be able to really share some of the things that they're passionate about. So first of all, Mr. Austin Schmidt, come on up here, Mr. O, and I would love for you to share some good news that we have.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you again for having us out this evening. We wanted to recognize some of our outstanding students. So the band program here has wonderful opportunities. The students have an opportunity to be selected and audition to make it into honor bands, which is basically performing with students from around the tri-state area. The Northern Kentucky University Honor Band Symposium with students from Kentucky, Cincinnati, local schools, working with guest university conductors, clinicians, musicians, wonderful opportunities for those folks. And then our Land of Grant Honor Band students who are performing with other students from Claremont Brown, Adams, Highland County. That organization's been around a long time. And so it's great to have them go out and represent our program and learn from different teachers besides myself and other musicians and meet new folks and all that kind of cool stuff. So we're here to recognize them. And do we want me to call them up? And
I would love for you to call them up. Yes,
wonderful.
Yes, they
Okay.
they're adorable.
These are their action
ours,
shots.
right?
All right. So our Land of Grant Honor Band participants would include Ronan Arnett, Ruth Hornsby, and Abby Quillen. We have our participants from Northern Kentucky University, which would be Alexiana, Lexi and Colton, and Hilda. And this coming weekend, actually, Colton and Hilda are going to Wright State University to be in their honor band as well. Lots of great things our band program has been doing. We're actually commissioning a new piece of music at our April 10th concert. So we were able to sign on to a commission and work with other bands throughout the country to commission a piece by an Ohio composer by the name of John Mackey. So that's happening in April 10th. We're bringing in one of my former professors from Miami University to work with our students as well. So awesome things are happening in the band program. So thank you all so much for your continued support. And I just wanted to recognize these guys too.
Can I ask some clarifying questions? Just
Sure.
Because I get really nosy about things like this.
Okay.
When students are getting ready to go into the next step as far as college or whatever that may be, am I correct in saying that these are such great opportunities to put on a resume, to be able to beef up leadership, really stepping out and standing out amongst other people within the band, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and again, you guys don't ever want to talk out loud, but I'm gonna ask some questions. But what is one thing that you were able to bring back from this opportunity? What is something that you learned or something that you were super proud of? I'm gonna start with you because you're giving me eye contact about it.
Definitely working with conductors from other bands and getting close with the staff at NKU because that's the one that I went to. It was a really good opportunity to like get to meet staff from colleges and maybe.
The reaching out to other people, because we actually, in the sectional that I was in, we winded up working with somebody that usually works with woodwinds. So it was a lot of fun to have the difference of opinion on that. And definitely it's okay to make mistakes and be proud when you make them. That was a big thing.
I love that. That's one of my favorite statements that is gonna come out of tonight. You can make mistakes and be proud of them. I love that.
I definitely enjoyed seeing just how big the skill gap between someone like me who has only been playing for like maybe 4 or 5 years and some of these people who've been only playing for like maybe 3 or 4 and are like leagues ahead of me, and just motivates me to be better.
I love that.
It was nice to meet new people from different places.
Absolutely. No, I love that. New people with similar passions, right? That's super cool. Yes, ma'am.
I really think that you can learn a lot just from like talking to people outside of the district that you're in, because they get a bunch of different opportunities and learn a bunch of different things that maybe we would get offered. So you can really get a lot of insight from around the counties and stuff.
I just really like playing my instrument, and it is my favorite thing in the entire world.
There you are. I love that.
All the connections that you make with other people. It's just great to meet people that share the same passion as you. It's like you have a common ground already, so it's kind of easy to start a conversation with them.
So as you can see, we're so lucky to be able to work with these kids every day, and couldn't be more proud that they were able to go out and represent Goshen High School, right? And learn some things from that too. So it's good stuff, and get to play your instrument, which is your most favorite thing that you ever do. So thank you guys. Let's give them a round.
We're going to give the kids a certificate here of appreciation, and then get a Goshen pin for going above and beyond. And then I want you to introduce who came with you tonight, if you brought anybody with you, because it takes a lot of support to get you guys to and from things, and practices late at night and events on weekends. Okay, if you didn't bring anybody, it's okay. You can just have one. Well, first up, we have Alexa and Houston. Alexia. I'm going to butcher that no matter
No,
what.
it's okay.
Is it butchered a lot?
All the time.
Okay, all right.
My last name is
Yeah.
Scherzinger, so.
Lexi?
Thank you.
Congratulations. And Colton?
We know you have people with you.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, you have people with you.
My mom, she's my favorite teacher in the district.
There's Ray. Who else?
They're not as cool.
I mean, they did
Sister's
come.
face there. Yeah.
I didn't want to come.
Did you bring anybody with you?
Here with Mr. Rose.
Okay, perfect. Hilda?
And then I brought my mom with me.
Thanks for coming, Mom. Ronan? Bring anybody with you?
I brought my mom and stepmom.
All right, thanks for coming. Ruth? Did you bring anybody with you?
Um,
And then Abby? Bring anybody with you?
my mom and my brother.
Mom and your brother. Thanks for coming. And then last but not least, Mr. O. Thank you. Good job.
Who'd you bring?
Who'd you bring this?
I brought the band.
All right, guys, good job. As I said, recognizing great students is one thing. And as you saw, that was pretty remarkable. And Nick's coming to work every day. A great thing to do. Also, this next group is talking about opportunities. And as you know, at Goshen High School, we are constantly looking at out-of-the-box ways of finding connections for students that could benefit them later on in life. We often have kiddos that will come up and say, gosh, I want to do this, whether it's in the business world, or we had somebody that was really interested in mortuary sciences one time, and we're like, okay, that's new, let's get it done. So we had been working with the University of Cincinnati Claremont, where they were talking with us about starting a class about research. And, we sit and we thought for a little bit about, we do have research projects that happens within our school on a fairly, frequent basis. But this was a class. This was an opportunity that specialized in research in the process and even looking at it from a collegiate level. So Mr. Dubs and I sat in the summertime, and I think we had just about a couple of weeks notice that we needed to get this up and running. And we started to think about who was the staff member that we thought would be able to take this and run with it. And we both came up with the exact same name, which is Mr. Kolkmeyer. So Mr. Kolkmeyer, if you would, come on up here. For those of you that don't know Mr. Kolkmeyer, he has been with us now, 4 years, 3 years, 5 years,
We're
5
five.
years?
Yeah,
We're
we're five.
5 in, okay, 5. He started to student teach with us. That was our first exposure
Yes.
to Mr. Kolkmeyer, and we really wanted him to stay. So that was a great opportunity for him, which led to great opportunities for our students back there. Mr. Kolkmeyer works kind of half day as a science teacher within our building, working with all of our students around, yes. And then the other part of the day, he works within our Ascend Academy for students that need an alternative educational setting, and he really supports those kiddos with science within the program. So with all of that being said, I'm going to turn it over to you and our great kids back here as well.
So yes, this is a really cool project, and it's been quite adventurous. So this class is part of a 5-year grant that is funded with the National Institute of Health in collaboration with UC and local school districts. So it's empowering youth to look at research design and really look at academic writing and just fueling students into the STEM and mental health fields. So that is the intent of the class. In addition, there's a lot of partners and resources that we've gained access to through this program. So it is really looking for students to look at research. And there's traditional research, which we can all think of as that boring thing that, you ask a question, you do reflections. But when we're looking at, say, lifestyle initiatives, whether it be for mental health or substance abuse, traditional research sometimes has some negative things, in that it kind of lacks cultural sensitivity. It's not relevant. So it can be a lot of times referred to as a helicopter approach, where researchers, professors go into areas, conduct research, do data, and then they leave and then come up with practices to improve these communities without actually listening to the people being impacted by these issues and problems and how they would solve it. So that is one of the things that we look at. And so we go with an approach called action-based research, in particular, youth-based action-based research. So this is a little set of photos from a art installation by Nina Kachadorian. It's called the Mended Spiderweb series, and it really captures what this is all about. So she went around the city and she repaired broken spider webs with thread and glue. And what she found over months of doing this was that every time the spider took down the web and rebuilt it from the ground up. So that's just really what we're trying to look at, and giving future stakeholders, our youth, access and a platform to talk about potential issues in their community and looking through the research process, whether that's STEM, researching a problem, reiterating, going back and constantly problem solving their issue, and having access that we don't. They have a view of the world that I have no clue, because if you ask them, I am so old, you know? And really, when we look at evoking change in the community, when those voices are heard, that's when change really does start to happen. So really taking a different approach into the course offering. So this is kind of what the course is about in terms of Portrait of a Graduate. They do earn college credit, and crazy enough, they get paid to do it, which is amazing. They do actually engage in graduate work. This is not content or topics that are usually offered at a bachelor level program. They're independent. I'm kind of a coach. I ask questions. I try to figure out their logic and try to move them forward without telling them what to do, which is typically what high schoolers are used to. It's just tell me what to do and get it done. No. Internships. One of the great resources we got access to this year is a nonprofit called Appalachian Children Coalition. We're at the very tip of Appalachia. And there is a nonprofit in the state of Ohio that offers paid internships for students in the mental health field at local mental health facilities. And so this year we were able to place 4 kids that were interested, 2 of them that were in this program, into a paid internship either this summer or this fall. And that can last for an entire year, even after they graduate. So that is a really great thing. Just active listening. It's getting them out in the community and asking questions, whether it be through a survey or an interview, and really listening to people's perspectives on issues, and really trying to think about how can I take this and affect change in the community. Project planning. We got a lot of moving parts, whether it's a survey or an interview or getting feedback back from the IRB. So the actual research field in UC. I just got an email tonight that it's been reviewed and we got to make some changes. So it's part of project planning. So management skills, how to interview. We practice those things. Most of them have never even been in an interview, let alone conduct an interview of another person. So they're learning these skills that's going to really propel them forward in their careers or in their academic pursuits. They own the project. It's not my question. It's not anything like that. They're given agency and purpose over their problem. And it's an opportunity to reflect on their own physical and social skills. So a lot of different things going in on this class. So this is just kind of an idea about the research process. So on the left is traditional research. On the right is action-based research. So really kind of involving identifying a problem and a solution at the same time, and what does that look like in going through this whole process. So as part of Youth Build Change and really celebrating our kids, I have them to present to you what they gained from the class, as well as potentially what they're actually researching in this class. So they're all going to come up, and the first is Marilyn Ayers.
I'm Marilyn Ayers. My partner Bailey Parks couldn't make it tonight because she had work, but I'm going to tell you some of the things Youth Build Change has brought us. So first thing that has brought us is experiences. We've got to collaborate with kids from North College Hill, and they're really nice kids, and we really enjoy working with them. It's kind of sad that we don't get to see them as much as we would like to, so hopefully in the future we can see them more. We made connections with professors and researchers. one of the first days at UCs, we sat through a long presentations of like researchers and explaining how they've made it to where they were. We got a tour of UC, which was pretty cool, free tour. It's a lot of teamwork. I love working with Bailey. I'm really glad that it's a partner thing and not individual because I don't know what I'd do without her. And we have a lot of out of the box thinking. We have to get into the other students' minds to figure out what questions we need to ask, what we need to look at. And things we learned what are ethical and unethical ways to do surveys and interviews. We've been working on our surveys and interviews a lot, and as you can tell, we have to work through our surveys again. We learned more about our peers. We get to learn what our fellow students are going through every day and how we can help them and like make their life better. We learned money management. So for this class, we get paid $500 to take it, and each quarter we get $125. So we get to learn how we use that money and contribute to our research or to ourselves. We learned a lot about ethics. We gotta learn what are the right and wrong ways to do research and analyzing peer review articles. At the beginning of the year, we read a lot of articles and we analyzed a lot of articles. We had to go into like PubMed and like other websites and just picked out articles that we were most interested in, and that's how we determined our research questions. And then things we liked about the class. We liked Mr. K as a teacher. He's a great teacher. And I'm really glad that he was a teacher because I feel like if it was anyone else, it'd be totally different. We get a lot of outside help. We have 3 people from UC come to our classroom every Tuesday and help us. We have a stress-free environment. I have not been stressed out at all. It's very laid back and we can work on whatever we want that day that we need to. And we really like the collaboration with North College Hill because we get to see a different perspective from another school. And then the access to graduate teachers and help. Their names are Tracy, Amanda, Meredith, and Greg, and we love them a lot. They're amazing. And that's it. Next is Allison.
My name is Allison Paprocki.
My name's Alana Gordon.
And our research process started by identifying a problem, first of all, that we saw in our community. So we identified that Goshen does offer many different mental health programs. We have Source of Strength, Child Focus that comes in, as well as our guidance counselors and Mr. Turpinning. So there are a lot of options available for students. However, there remains a stigma around mental health. Students are not utilizing these resources as well as they could be. So we wanted to see how people think about mental health programs, not only at Goshen, but also at Little Miami and Blanchester. These are schools that are pretty similar to ours demographically and locationally. And if we notice like similar perceptions between these schools, that could show that there's an over systematic issue, whereas if there's different issues between the schools, that could just point us what works and what doesn't. And ultimately, the goal for this would be to help struggling students that aren't participating in these programs, we can improve their mental health. So all of this process led us to our overall question of how do teachers and students perceive the usefulness of school-based mental health programs and initiatives?
And obviously, we want to find benefits from our research and from doing it. Immediate benefits we've gotten with being in this class is collaboration skills with each other and North College and the people that come to help us from research. We've gotten exposure to high-level research and developed professional skills. Long-term benefits include confidence to pursue careers in STEM or mental health and establish connections to UC faculty and mental health professionals.
Just from my experience, I'm a senior this year and I'll be going to Ohio State next year as a pre-med major. So the opportunity to be involved in research as a student still in high school is just going to be so beneficial to my future because being involved in undergraduate research when you're going to go to medical school is so huge. So already having my foot in the door before I even graduate high school is just such a great opportunity. I've been so excited to have. And I'll pass it on to Addie and Emily. So the class we're taking, Youth Built Change, has offered us many new experiences. As Mr. K previously mentioned, the Appalachian Children's Coalition is something that me and Marilyn have had the opportunity to do. And it just sets me up for my future. When I go to college, I plan on pursuing mental health and hopefully go up in a field like that. And it gives me a lot of credibility. And I don't know, just something for me to work with once I go past high school. And then the class offers a lot of networking with professors and researchers at the University of Cincinnati. And it gives us connections and I guess, builds up more credibility when we get to college. And we interact with a lot of students from North College Hill, which has completely different demographics and gives us different perspectives on how other people live and how different our schools could be. And it's just been really helpful collaborating with them and seeing their point of view. And we've learned the research process and how to engage with it. Specifically, it's called action-based research. And it's a whole different type of process than you would for normal research. And it's been interesting learning how to do that. We've learned how to collaborate effectively, and we've learned the significance of advocating for yourself and communicating with teachers and facilitators to get the help you need. And a lot of positives will be developing interpersonal relationships. The relationships we've gained throughout this class have been very important to me. Mr. K, he's been very helpful, and he's just someone that has really helped me figure out my path and how I'm going to pursue beyond high school. And then collaborating with my classmates. It's been really nice working with Emily and students from other schools. And we've just gained a lot of opportunities and basically learned discipline and what's necessary to think critically. Pass it on to Emily.
It's not really one.
It's not really.
Say what you gained.
Okay, well, sorry if I mess up, it's kind of on the spot now, but I was really interested in taking this class, one, because we did get paid, but also, like Allison said, I'm also a senior planning to attend Ohio State and majoring in neuroscience, so that does take a lot of research and knowing what to do, and sometimes, because of how small and rural our school is, sometimes I feel compared to like students at other schools or private schools that have these opportunities, kind of hamper them. So being able to have an opportunity like YBC research and like Addison said, taking the steps to doing action-based research, I think it really like pushes us and encourages us to collaborate with our classmates and just, I don't know, learn from our mistakes.
So my partner Kylie Zook could unfortunately not be here tonight, but I'm Miranda Royal, and we are investigating how the portrayal of substance abuse in the media affects teens' perceptions of and interactions with drugs. So I know Kylie is looking into going into molecular biology, and I'm kind of looking at cancer research or oncology. And of course, those are both very, very science-based, very research-based curriculums that we're going to have to take in college. And it's a really daunting thing to look at and to step forward into without having any prior experience. So with this class, we're both able to get a lot of experience and a lot of exposure to the sort of processes and the scientific mindset we're going to need to do well in college and beyond. And it also helps, we're able to go into college with credits that are directly related to what we're going to be learning and to what we're going to need to be able to do. So in the beginning of the year, we were told to find really broad topics of things that interested us, things that we thought we might want to continue looking at as the year went on. And then over the course of the semester, we worked with Mr. K and we worked with our graduate assistants, Meredith and Tracy Amanda, to kind of narrow down those really broad topics and find pairs and work with people who had similar interests. From there, we finalized some question, and as I said, we're looking at substance abuse in media and kind of how pro-drug and anti-drug depictions of substance abuse affects students. So far, and we're only barely even halfway through the year, and Kylie and I have also already developed many skills on the process of scientific research and how to approach problems with the intent to solve them rather than to just name them. We've been able to develop resiliency in the face of the challenges. We've already had a few setbacks, a few problems with how we've been conducting our research, and it's definitely been a learning experience to be able to see those problems and kind of work past them. And of course, we're both really grateful to be able to be given the opportunity to hopefully make an impact in our community and leaving a lasting, hopefully positive legacy for future students. As I said, we are looking at a possible correlation between positive or negative portrayal of substances in the media and how that affects how students see drugs. Media is, of course, a huge role in the lives of teens and young adults all across the country. And social media students have had more and more frequent exposure to media in the last few years. And not only that, but drug depictions in the media have increased exponentially in the last few decades. So with our findings that we hope to get, Kylie and I are planning to reach out to different school counselors and outreach groups like Child Focus. And we're planning to give our results to people like Mr. Tarpening or Mrs. Royal and Mrs. Mance to perfect existing programs for students already suffering with drug abuse, and maybe to create an even better solution to prevent that from ever happening in the first place.
So I'm going to say this. First of all, I was reflecting a little bit about my time in high school. And if I thought for a second that I'd be able to stand up in front of 50 adults and really talk about collegiate level work that you are doing on a frequent basis, I am incredibly impressed right now. I know everybody else here is also. Some of the things that I heard, and Mr. Kolkmeyer, if you want to do a quick wrap up after I say what I need to say here, I love the fact that maybe one of you have figured out or has figured out that mental health field might be the route that you would like to be able to go into, which I really, I love that. I think also when I'm thinking about some of you that are talking about this, medical and so forth, this, as you said, the research process, this is going to be what you do all of the time. And I think about freshmen that go into their first semester of college and are overwhelmed a bit because they've not had to do research quite like this before. So this is fantastic. That was your topic. I don't care if the topic was about, cancer, perceptions about bullying, if it's, educational, strategies that are out there, regardless of what the topic is, the process is what we're pulling out of this that is so very important that you can take from here on out. Mr. Kolkmeyer, do you have anything else?
No, just that it is a really great class it's just a unique offering. I don't think I could have ever pictured in a high school that this is being taught, but it really provides some of these kids direction in some really daunting fields. Like I can't imagine being a neuroscience major bachelor's and thinking about what comes next. So it really kind of frames them up to not only achieve in their bachelor's, but also exceed it for the future. So it's a really amazing thing.
We are going to present you guys with certificates too, but I just have to say, I know we just had our CCP meeting in the library at 6:00. The amount of opportunities that we are able to provide here at Goshen, whether it be through dual credit, where kids are here on campus with a high school teacher, or it be CCP, where we're going to UC Claremont, or it just be, the AP classes that we have to offer here. It's given you guys a wealth of opportunities, and it's this Board of Education, your administrators' jobs to make sure that we keep giving you opportunities. But we're fortunate, because each of you said Mr. K, to have a teacher that will go out on the limb and put themselves into a new learning opportunity as well, because it's nerve-wracking to be a teacher and take on something that maybe is not your expertise. We have so many teachers at Goshen that go out the extra mile to make sure that our kids can have dual credit opportunities where they might have to go out and take extra college courses themselves to be able to teach it. But we have so many of those here on campus, and I'm thrilled that you guys are taking advantage of it. I will say your communication skills through that is impressive. I mean, you guys did a great job of explaining that and giving the board and the community information on that. So thank you. If you brought somebody with you, you'll introduce them after I give your certificate. You know the drill here now. All right, Marilyn. You brought your mom. Where's mom at? Thanks for coming, Mom. Emily? Bring him with you.
No.
Okay, you're good. Sometimes we don't, high school kids, I heard somebody talking, they don't talk to us most of the time. Aaliyah, is that right? Aliyah. Allison?
Allison, do you bring somebody with you? I brought my mom, but I think she's required to be here.
Miranda? And Kylie? Kylie's not here. She wasn't able to come. Addison? Yes.
I brought my dad, my stepmom, my mom.
Thank you guys for coming. And Mr. K. Excited to hear about all those opportunities at those colleges. You guys are well on your way. Thank you. Just have a seat for 1 minute and then we'll get you guys out of here after the next session.
I just want to thank all of you guys for coming tonight. It's so impressive to see not only what our district is offering, but that you guys are engaging at such a high level, right? From our band members who are engaging with college opportunities to the research opportunities. It is very impressive. I work at the University of Cincinnati and in the College of Nursing, and we often see students get partnered with researcher or the clinical side of things. And that can be so intimidating as a freshman, as you kind of expressed thus far. But having that opportunity now to have kind of an understanding, it's an amazing opportunity. And I thank our administration and the teachers for stepping up, like Mr. Bailey said. But on behalf of the board, thank you guys all for coming out tonight and taking the opportunity to share with us what you guys are doing out there in our community.
Very good.
So next on the agenda, old business facility naming rights agreement for the George Rise Field at Jim Brown Stadium. Mr. Bailey, do you have anything?
You want to do the motion and then the discussion on that.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve old business A facility naming rights agreement for George Rise Field at Jim Brown Stadium?
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
So I just want to thank, we've got, some members here. This was brought to us through the community, at which point, as a board, we worked through our naming right policy and tidied up some pieces so that we could make sure that we did this in honor of George. You've got several community members here, whether they were colleagues of Mr. Rise's or students or players. We had a lot of recommendations come in the form of letters and emails for this process. I'm just excited that we're going to get to honor Mr. Rise for all the things he did for this community, whether it be as a football coach, a principal, a teacher, a mentor, for all the years that he did. Obviously, and also on the Board of Education for the time he was on the Board of Education. I can't think of a more fitting honor for somebody in this community. I'm excited to get the process rolling. Tonight's the first step. We have approved the naming rights. At this point, I will be getting, and I can't say without, the naming rights agreement is in, the sponsor of it is our Goshen Education Foundation. So to have the foundation step out and do yet another thing to impact our school district and community is a valuable asset. They do a lot for us, but to be able to step out and put their name on that, there will be a drive coming up to raise some funds for doing, making sure the turf looks good and take all care of all those pieces. They will be running that and really pushing it out there. So, I have to thank them for being the sponsor of that and going through this. So our next step is for me to get with that committee of folks to really design, the field, design the night. It is going to be September 19th next year during football season is when we will honor Coach Rise, and it's fitting that is the king of the road game against Manchester. So we will be, it'll be a great night. So at that time, we'll be getting together with the committee and really looking at what this looks like and making sure that we communicate it out there. So more to come on that, but I do want to thank the Board of Education for going through the process here to get this naming right done. Thank our community members and those that are in attendance tonight for the support they showed to get the process going, and also the Education Foundation for being the motor that'll churn it out here. So I do appreciate that. So no further, you'll need to vote on that. Any questions, I can answer those too.
Fantastic.
Mr. Schenkel, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Werke?
Yes.
Mrs. Pepperrocky?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
I abstain.
Mr. West?
Yes.
All right, for those interested in leaving, this is a great time to step away because I know some of you come just to see your children highlighted at the board meeting. And otherwise, feel free to stay for the remainder of the board meeting. Thank you for coming. You're welcome to move close up to the front. I'm just kidding.
See ya. Come on, let's sit up.
All right, new business, public participation. Mrs. Scherzinger, do we have anyone signed up in for public participation?
Yes, we do.
All right, before calling out the first name, I'd like to read out the requirements of public participation. Each person addressing the board will give his or her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person will be allotted 2 minutes until the total time of 30 minutes is used. During that period, no person may speak twice until all who desire to speak have had the opportunity to do so. Persons desiring more time should follow the procedure of the board to be placed on a regular agenda. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the Board of Education. As a board, we listen and take notes. All subject matters that require follow-up will be followed up by someone of the board or administration to share the outcome. So, Mrs. Scherzinger, first person.
Jim Allen.
Thank you. My name is Jim Allen, 7147 Chino Road.
Come over here, Jim.
Yeah, if you'd like, we have a podium. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a personal address.
Jim Allen, 7147 Chino Road. I usually don't get to use these because I've got a big mouth. Okay, 82 years of Goshen, never been to a school board meeting. It's my loss. It's very well good. Okay, I've had some bad times. I would like if Mr. West would read this off to the board for me.
Sure. Thank you, Jim. Jim came up to me Thursday at the game and asked me if I would speak, his words. And so hopefully I do a good job for you. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to have this letter presented to the school board. Too many times in today's world, you only hear from disgruntled, angry, or disappointed citizens, customers, consumers, or people in general. This is the kind of letter that you should get to read more often. My name is Jim Allen. I'm 82 years old, a lifetime citizen from former Goshen police officer and township trustee. My three boys all graduated from Goshen High School and participated in sports with his oldest, Jimmy, coaching in the system for many years, and his middle son, Joe, going on to college football due to 100%, the late, great George Rise, personally contacting coaches and urging them to take a chance on his son. This year in 2024 was absolutely the worst of his life. He lost his sister in January, followed by a massive garage fire in which he lost two classic Thunderbirds in his garage and his collections. Then on her birthday, 2 weeks before their 63rd anniversary, he lost his wife. Here's what he would like you to know. As a man of faith, the Bible speaks about giving credit where credit is due. He would like to share his experience this winter. He's attended almost every boys varsity and some girls, some junior high, and he wanted to take time to publicly praise the basketball and coaching staff. Not only do they spend countless hours trying to make these kids better basketball players, but I believe they're doing an incredible job making them better people. The entire coaching staff, Coach Burton. And,
We'll let you continue.
Yeah, okay.
Handoff there took 30 seconds.
You said I'm slow. All right. The entire coaching staff, Coach Burton, Helming, Settlemeyer, Hadley, Smallwood, Wake, and Coach Turner have taken the time to greet him, talk to him, and generally treat this 82-year-old grieving man like a special part of the team. Several of the boys' players have taken their time to talk and are always kind, courteous, and look at me in the eye and thank me when I congratulate them for playing a good game. You will never know just how much this meant to me and my family. Thank you to all the coaches. Thank you to the school board for a great job that you are doing. And thank you for having the wisdom to not only hire good coaches, but more importantly, hiring good humans and role models to help these young people represent the school district and community like they do. Mr. Jim Allen.
Mrs. Scherzinger, do we have anyone else on the list?
Yes, Amy Steele.
Hello, my name is Amy Steele and I reside at 6943 Goshen Road. I was born and raised in Goshen. My husband and I both graduated from Goshen. We've raised both of our kids here. Our son Preston also graduated from Goshen, so we are no strangers to helping our kids navigate the high school process and the bumps that our young adults go through along the way. I am here today to address concerns with several members of the coaching staff, specifically the Lady Warriors basketball program, in hopes for a different outcome. My daughter, Macy Steele, is currently on the varsity basketball team. She has played basketball since 4 years old. Macy has played for multiple AAU programs over the years with many different coaches, all with different coaching styles. We've taught her respect and that coaches are valuable. She always says, love the game. I'm pretty sure most of you that know her know that Macy lives and breathes sports. Over the last 2 years, we have witnessed a change in Macy and her attitude toward basketball that we feel is directly related to some of the negative comments and belittling during practices and games. There have been countless situations that we've encountered over the last 2 seasons that have warranted meetings with the coaching staff. These meetings have resulted in no change. We've given it time. We've gone through the proper channels. We've actually had Macy try to work through the process on her own before getting involved, and that only made it worse. She is belittled and berated at times in front of the team as she speaks up. Macy now hates the game she once loved. It's frustrating to watch your child go through this. Sorry. Knowing it could have been prevented if a change was made. In conclusion, going the proper channels and having necessary meetings with the coaching staff have done nothing but result in condescending and sarcastic remarks, which is against your staff-student relations policy. Your policy also states that staff members shall maintain appropriate professional, emotional, and social boundaries in the supervision, control, and protection of students. These policies have not been upheld, and there's a blatant abuse of power. Evidence can be provided after the season ends out of respect for the team. My question is, who is holding the coaching staff accountable, and what else can be done when your coach is the athletic director? This appears to be a conflict of interest that needs to be taken seriously in order to protect student athletes the integrity of the team, and the future of the program. Thank you.
Sure, Singer, are there other?
Yes, Sam Steele.
Hi, guys. Well, thank you for having me tonight, and you're voting on me. So thank you for bringing me back. I want to talk just a little about coaching. We do this because we love it. All right. When we had our meeting, we talked about what we want. Okay. These girls are what we want. We want these girls to love playing the game. All right. And when I see her not love it, something's wrong. You know, I don't know what it is to talk about. You know, we've gone through meetings, we've done that. But as a coach, we want what's best for these girls. We want them to work hard. We want them to want to come back, want to come to practice. And when I see this stuff, you know, it's the writing on the wall. Something's up. All right. If that needs to be talked about, you know, in-house, you know, something, because these girls are too good to look like this, you know, or feel like this. But I just want to talk about the other part of this is the multi-sporting. You know, he's all for it. We're all for it. But when it comes down to it, you know, you're not, you know, in school, you want your students to do as much as they can, to excel as much as they can, take as much, push them as far as they can. You know, the mental health thing. It's the same for sports. You know, it was student and teachers, but it also could be coaches and athletes. And that's a huge thing. You know, it's something that I wish I could have asked Q&A with these girls. But when you tell an athlete that you can only do one thing or you're going to get penalized, like that's not how it should be. You know, you don't do it to the students. You know, you take one class and that's it. No, we want to push you to do more. You know, it's the same for sports. You know, we want to push you to do as much as you can, you know, to flourish as much as you can and to give them the opportunity to do it and not have to feel, you know, stressed out or belittled or, you know, mental health comes into it. And then that's when I'm up here doing this and I'm not, you know, I'm gonna fight tooth and nail for her or my players. So, and I hope they would do the same. So, thank you. Thanks.
Macy, as a student, you do not need to do address.
Hi, my name is Macy Steele, and I'm a sophomore here at GHS. I play softball, volleyball, and basketball here at Goshen High School. I am also a member of Student Council and Sources of Strength. I would like to start by saying Shinkle, Witt, and my teammates are the reason I come to basketball every day. I have played for multiple coaches in the past. I have been coached by many men and women with very different coaching styles. I have been playing sports since I was 4. I have loved basketball ever since I was little, but at this point, after 2 seasons of playing high school basketball, I am no longer enjoying the game anymore. I know many of my teammates feel the same way. Due to fear of deteriorating mental health, I am not sure I could continue playing in the game of basketball under the leadership of some of the current coaching staff next year. I have been made aware recently of how some of my coaches talk about me. It is very hurtful, and I don't think any player deserves to be treated like that or feel this way. Therefore, if there is no change, I don't think I can make it through another season mentally. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Oh, thank you. I don't know how to sign up.
Am I? Oh, that sheet.
That's all.
So on that, I do have something to say that really pisses me off that we have a family and a student that comes here and says that about our athletic director and our and a coach and coaches, and to know that they talk about her and it slipped out and they were asked to cover it up. That's unacceptable. I expect there to be an investigation. I want there to be an investigation, and I want there to be changes. She should not have to feel like that to play the game of basketball. This stuff needs to not be swept under the rug and hope it goes away. It better not be, and it won't be under my watch because I'll hold you accountable. I don't want to see that ever again. I don't want to hear that ever again. And I hope I make that clear. It's funny that mental health was the first thing that we talked about in this meeting. And to have her come up here with a mental health issue and we don't address that stuff beforehand, we failed as a board and you failed as administration and as a coaching staff. We got an email this week, and I'm not sure what's happened to that, if that person has been talked about or talked to, but it better be fixed. We better figure out better I don't care if your daughter's going to play for them next year. We better figure it out as a board because that is unacceptable. And I won't have that again while on my watch.
Hold on, are you referring to me? Am I?
No, just,
Okay.
you have a vested interest. Everybody has a vested interest up here. There's a couple of people that has a vested interest up here. We have to do the right thing no matter where our stances are. And that better happen because I don't want to see this happen again at our board meeting. We are too good for that. Our programs are too good for that. We shouldn't have a girl that wants to quit because of a coach. You hear it talked about a lot and nothing ever happens to it. It just gets swept under the rug, and that's going to stop because this is too serious. We talk about mental health. We have them come in here and present that, and then we just sweep it under the rug hoping it goes away. That's not going to happen. I can promise you that. That won't happen. I'm sorry it's happening to you. I don't care who he is. I don't care how long he's been here. If he's making you feel like that, he won't be here, in my opinion. I won't vote for him.
He's not the only one that feels.
I know he's not the only, and that's the other problem. We better figure out the retaliation stuff too. We say it doesn't happen. No, don't cut me off.
We're gonna start talking.
Don't cut me off. Don't cut me off. This is my time.
If we're gonna start
This is
talking
my
about
time.
personnel, we have to do it. in a
This is
different
my
way.
time. I didn't mention names, and it was brought up. The retaliation, a student or a parent that feels they can't come to this administration or this board because the retaliation needs to stop. Because that's not the way it's supposed to be run. A student or a parent should come to this school, to that administration, to the superintendent, and expect it to get taken care of. And as long as I'm here, it will be exposed. You will take care of it. This better not happen again under my watch.
So Corey, can I address something? To my knowledge, since I've been on the board, anything that's been brought to the Board of Education and our administration has been followed up on.
And that's fine.
I
And
do
you may say
know-
that, that's good.
I-
Perfect.
It has.
No, it has been.
You may say that, but we still got issues that we need to address.
I do know things are talked about, but unless it's followed all the way through the chain of command and it is brought up, anything that has been brought to the board's attention has absolutely been addressed.
That's fine. Well, I represent her and everybody that put me on this board. So I will make sure that it is followed up on and you have a resolution. Because I want to see you out on that basketball court again because you're too darn good to be told you're not to shoot and only pass. And all the other girls too. I heard of your situation. I don't think that was cool. You're kids. You have a right to do stuff. Coaches should not be telling you that you can't play because you had something scheduled 6 months prior to
So
that.
Have you had prior knowledge to this? Did you
I don't
talk
have to do-
did you
I
talk
don't
to
have
our
to do anything of
administration?
that. I don't have to do anything of that. This is my opinion. This is what I have to say.
If you have
This
prior
is who I
knowledge,
stand up for.
we should take it to our administration
We don't
so
have
they
to.
can
It
follow
was
up.
taken to, I don't have to do any of that. So I will say what I need to say, when I need to say it, because I will represent those that feel that they don't have a voice.
Okay,
I agree with you.
I think we need to look at the Coach Beyond program as well. You know, it's something that we, one of the sessions at Capitol Conference that we looked at, that's been on by Ohio State. I think that's all of our coaches need to probably participate in all the sports.
The OHSA Coach Beyond.
That is addresses players' mental health. It's additional training for coaches. It's yeah, I believe that's Ohio State.
They partner with
They
coaches.
partner with, yes.
Yeah.
As Mrs. Gray said, anytime we have public participation, there will be a process that comes out behind it. This is the first I've heard about this deep of this. Obviously, there was an email on Friday. It's Monday. I have not had an opportunity to do a ton with that because there was a weekend and the opportunity to do that. So I would appreciate the opportunity and the time to do that.
Here's the thing, you give
Say
us
that I'm not-
the agenda on Thursday and expect us to do the same thing. It's a day.
I have to have staff here over the weekend to look into.
You're aware of the
I'm not-
situation, so
I
we'll get it
will-
addressed.
I will make sure that we go through a process with this. Bill, I do know that, from a department standpoint, there's a lot of PD that they're looking at already for next year proactively, not just with this, it's just part of the OHSAA piece. We had at a capital conference. ADs have been through those as well. So I'll look into all this. From that side of it, I can't, there's always two sides and I have to be able to look into it and understand where the two sides are. And someplace in the middle is the truth. And that's what we'll do. We'll go through, have conversations, find the truth. And, from there, obviously, that's an investigation standpoint and a staffing standpoint that has processes that we have to go through. So.
And I do want you guys to all know, it is important for us to hear from you and for us to be fully aware of things that you're navigating, how you feel. If there's no more further public participation, we'll move on to agenda item 8, new business treasurer's report. Mr. Schinkel.
All right, so we're on this right here, we're up through, the first 7 months of the year. I'm sorry, it's up here. All right. As you can see, we're 60% or 58% of our year is done. We actually received in 60%. So it pretty much stays in line with what we're going to be doing. We've brought in $23 million of our expected 39 million, and the remaining is 15. And, I always say we're roughly 3 million a month receipts dispersed, 15 million expected receipt. That's for our last 5 months. So that's what we're setting out on revenue. On our expenditures, again, 58% of our year's done. We're right on track, around 56% of our expenditures. We've spent 21 million this year of our $37 million budget, and we got remaining about 16 million to go. Total revenues year to date, you can see in fiscal year 24, we brought in $20 million. Currently this fiscal year, we're at 22 million. So we're up 11%. Mostly of that is our real estate tax collection and homestead rollback that we got. And you can see that in those lines right there. On the expenditure side, last year we spent 20 million at this time through January. We're at 21 right now. So we're up a little over $1 million. We're 5%. Basically, cost of inflation cost is up there. And then our salaries and benefits for all of our employees, and then materials and supplies, that sort of stuff. We're tracking that. Our prior year ending fund balance, we ended with 15 million. Our budget year end is what we're anticipating is 16 million. And right now, if that projects out, we'll have about 160 days of cash at hand. So a little over 5 months in the bank. Should something happen there. And right now, we are tracking to be a little bit higher than what we got. What we have on our 5-year forecast, which I haven't really adjusted. The state right now is getting, there's House bills, Senate bills, all kinds of issues going on with school funding. So, I haven't really changed anything until we really see what kind of comes down the road. But we are trending to be another 1.6 million higher than what we currently have on our 5-year forecast. So I know I ran that fairly quick. I didn't know if any more questions on that or not. Okay.
So last year was 16.5, or you're saying 16.5 is where you budgeted and we're going to come up a little bit above that?
That's what we're budgeting for this year, but it looks like we could be up to that.
That was our 5-year
We're
forecast.
trending.
Budget, yeah.
Yes, you got that right.
Any additional questions?
Still can't get that bar. Is that right? That's $2 million difference. It looks like it's $16 million.
I'll get them to work on that. That does look a little skewed there.
Any projects coming up or emergency project? I've heard some plumbing issues at the middle school and bathrooms being
I
closed.
think we're trying to figure out if we need to reline pipes. That's what we're investigating right now.
Okay.
Yeah. But there will be year 2 of our capital plan that will go over at the retreat as well to make sure summer projects and capital improvements are taken care of.
further questions? Moving-
So are we gonna go over, are we voting on the financial stuff? You gonna go one by one or?
I was actually going to, I was going to close the poll and you can discuss the aligning. Do we have a motion to approve new business C financials 1 through 9?
Second.
Bill made the motion, Melissa second. Do we have discussion?
Can we touch on number 7 real quick?
Yeah, we'll do 7, 8, and 9 because those are not typical. 7 is our farmland, 10 acres next door. We've had a contract with Mr. Goodwin for as far back as I can remember for him to farm that and then maintain the frontage on the right side of the road and then farm the left side. So that has been Todd, you can probably do deeper than that because I don't, was that?
No, we got that property. It was farmed there for a long time by Mr. Goodwin. And basically, he said as long as the district's not having any plans to use it, could he go ahead and farm it? Because there's a little bit more right there by the park that he does. And then once we come up with a plan to use it, I mean, he knows that, he won't be able to.
That's why we do it year to year.
Yeah, so.
Is $100 fair, like fair market value, or seems pretty cheap?
Yeah, I mean, there's going around, I mean, I've heard of different prices. I mean, we've had that for a couple of years now. I mean, just what it is they pay that $100 and then whatever they get, I mean, he normally does beans, 35 bushel to the acre, 10 acres, 350. I don't know what the current price of beans is right now, but it's not like he's getting a ton of money above that. You know what I mean? So.
Is that something we can utilize too as a student body to help, or do we do anything? Do we benefit from it? Just the $100 an acre?
That's what we get. We got $1,000.
And he maintains it. So he maintains it.
He
so we don't
maintains,
have
yeah,
to-
he just frontage and mows and all that, the frontage, so.
Yeah.
So we could probably cost out what the cost would be to maintain that if we feel like there would be a concern there.
Just questions about it. So I was just curious. I didn't know.
And then you've got 8, that's the resolution declaring transportation impractical. We had a family move in that is St. Margaret of York. We don't have a bus that goes there, therefore it's impractical for us to do route, especially mid-year. We will work with that family, but that is essentially, we pay them in lieu of, transportation dollars for them to transport their kids. So that's an agreement we've already made with that family. You guys are just approving that. And then number 9 is the agreement of the master, district-wide master facility plan with Steve Hammond and Paul that obviously we're going to be going through over the next 16 months. Really, this is, if you remember, we had, a full 5 steps that we were having them look at, from capacities of buildings, utilization of buildings, enrollment studies, traffic plans. We will be doing a lot of community engagement. And this is not to talk about dollars, it's to talk about what we want out of education for the future of Goshen. So, if we want all these great programs that we're seeing kids do, and it takes space, those things, as we look at education to continue to evolve, and obviously our district's growing, we need to go through a full-blown process here to understand what our community wants. And then in the end, once we have an idea of what the community wants, then we can start to look at what that might look like as far as additions to buildings or what it might be. But I think, the biggest piece of this is that community engagement piece and holding open forums, opportunities for people to come in and talk to us about education, about what we want to do here in the district to move forward. So again, this is an agreement for them to work with us because they're experts in this. I'd love to say I'm an expert in a lot of things, but master facility planning was one class in college, and I don't think it's gonna get me to do it all the way through. So, but I do feel like this will help give the board an idea of what the community wants, an idea for us to understand, questions we can ask and go through that process. So you're approving that agreement tonight that we have obviously negotiated with them.
And we'll be sharing, obviously, and they'll be looking into our growth over that 16 months as part of this.
Part of it's an enrollment study, part of it's, yes, there's a big piece. I mean, it's a lot. There'll be a lot of data that comes out of it, a lot of input. They're actually going to start at our State of the Schools night on Thursday night with a quick survey. They're going to be a booth at the at the Student Achievement Fair. And they'll have, obviously, I'm going to talk a little bit to the community that night about this process as well, to kind of start that process. It won't be quick at first. It's a lot of data collection and analyzing data, and
They're doing a
we'll
survey
kinda
just
start
from
to
their
refine.
booth. They're doing a survey just from their booth, or are they gonna do like one of the?
They'll do a survey from their booth, and then I'm gonna also, as part of my conversation, put the QR code up for anybody that maybe doesn't make it to the booth. So, yep. And it'll go out in my newsletter Friday as well.
I think last meeting, Mr. Bill asked for the enrollment numbers. I don't think I've seen that just yet. So open enrollment and kind of enrollment numbers kind of up, down, where we're at there.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys want me on that? It's, obviously we can talk about that too, with my goals, if there's steps.
I think we decided quarterly, unless there was a month where there was a significant change.
We haven't got one, and maybe I just need a starting point, kind of where we're at, so then the quarterly's fine.
Yep, I can have that. I'll put it in an email to you guys this week.
I drove through the subdivision on Short 48 the other day, and I tried through their office, but I don't drive back there very often. Yeah, it blew my mind how quick those houses are coming in.
Well, this one back on Linton's got 74 foundations to pull, so that means 74 lots are sold. So,
And the one
it's
off
happening.
of 132 in Deerfield.
It's happening.
Yeah, we're getting neighbors like crazy up there.
Have they opened that second entrance on?
Not yet, they haven't, they're still tracking through the mud, but
They've got the pretty little signs up
Don't
for
go
the
through there?
entrance,
Oh.
for the entrance, if they just haven't paved it yet.
Any further discussion on new business C, financials 1 through 9? Mr. Schenkel, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Paprocki,
Yes.
Mr. Rare,
Yes.
Mrs. Gray,
Yes.
Mr. West,
Yes.
Mrs. Werke.
Yes.
Moving on to new business D, personnel motions. Do we have a motion to approve new business D, personnel 1 through 6?
So moved.
Second.
Lisa made the motion, Bill second. Any discussion?
I just think you've got the typical subs, non-certs. Did have a resignation of a teacher at the end of the year that's moving out of the state. Student teacher, and then the stipends. You'll probably see Mr. Coltmeyer's name on there next year. This is a grant from the state for districts to create more CCP opportunities, dual credit opportunities. So those are grant or state dollars that are coming in. Part of those dollars go to the district for materials. The other part goes to the staff member for their role in creating a course. So this was last year's new courses that we created for Mr. Walt and Mr. Talbot. Obviously, we try to find those opportunities, and for them, for the state to provide us, small dollars for staff is, encouraging.
Yeah. I wonder, is there a way that we can, just to just say that, to get out to the public, that those are grant dollars that we found, because, there's been said that, everything comes at a cost, or, how do we just publicize that,
Well, I know Todd's doing it at State of the Schools. He's going to talk about all the grants we've received this year, and we do put it in quality profile, and probably a good did you know moving forward.
Yeah, that's good.
Some good ideas, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's on G News. One of them was a story on grants, and whether it be the grub bus to safety grants to the Bureau of Workman's Comp grants. There's a lot. I mean,
Right.
you add it up. This
Just like
year
if
alone,
you could
we've
get the good news,
Yes.
the people to double click on the
Yep.
good news twice as much as the bad news,
Exactly.
but I don't know if you can do that.
I think that's a great point. Is there a way to put that on the website maybe? It's like, grants or, just, and then we could forward people to that if they ask.
Part of the first meeting we had with SHP was a communications audit. And those are some of the things that they're going to talk through with us about where to put things and how to communicate it if we're not. We're communicating a lot. I think sometimes what their estimation was communicating too much.
Too much, yeah.
And people get overwhelmed with it. So there's a happy medium there someplace of how to communicate all the great and not overwhelm people with it on a daily. So
Wouldn't it be great if like somebody puts a zinger out there and you'd be like, yeah, well, did you know we got this grant?
Yeah.
That's the response.
yeah.
Any other discussion? Mr. Shinkle, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mrs. Gray,
Yes.
Mr. West,
Yes.
Mrs. Werke,
Yes.
Mrs. Pepperrock.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to,
From this one by.
okay, moving on to new business. Bill's trying to throw me for a loop over here. New business E, athletic personnel. First, we're going to vote on 1 through 4 and 6, leaving out item 5. Do we have a motion?
So moved, sorry.
Second.
Corey, we have a motion from Corey, a second from Melissa. Discussion?
You're voting on
I'm
one.
sorry, I'm sorry.
That's 2.
Two.
No, two.
Well, Corey, we pulled
Yeah.
the change. So you don't have to change anything. It's just sorry. Yeah.
Right, you guys had to
I was
abstain.
thinking two.
I just abstained from the athletic vote. It's okay.
You
I
want me
could,
to
yeah,
second?
no,
Yeah,
that's
you've got a
great. Just
quorum.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll abstain.
Yeah.
We got it. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so hold on, we need to recall the motion.
Okay.
We're gonna call for a motion to approve new business E, athletic personnel 1 through 6.
So moved.
And I will still second.
Corey made the motion, Melissa second. Any further discussion?
And this is just going through the athletics coming up this year, volunteers
Yeah.
paid and, okay.
Yeah.
Bill's abstaining because he has a relative who's a coach.
That makes sense.
Yeah, really, this is our spring coaches to get them going and then a couple additions for next year. But volunteers.
Any further discussion? Mr. Schenkel, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gray,
Yes.
Mr. West,
Yes.
Mrs. Werke,
Yes.
Mrs. Pepperrock,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera.
Abstain.
Thank you. Moving on to new business F, miscellaneous. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Lisa made the motion. Melissa second. Any discussion regarding OHSA, donations, resolution to appoint the treasurer to Tax Incentive Review Council,
Thank you, Todd.
and approve the update of ODE and workforce model policies and procedures?
So just on each of those, yearly we join the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Donations, 3 of them there. The LE Gas donation and a scholarship donation, and I'm losing track on the other one.
Scholarship.
Another scholarship.
Another scholarship, yeah. And then resolution to appoint Todd, that there's a tax incentive review council where Todd will go to the county and listen to all the TIFs or RIDs that have been done here in the township or in the county that impact schools. But it's just a yearly meeting that you appoint him to go to. And then the approval of the updated Ohio Department of Education and Workforce Model Policies and Procedures. That is through our IGBEA policy. We follow that for special education guidelines. They made a small update, and that is essentially we're just updating or approving the update, which there was a Cliff Notes version on your packet there. It was 30 days for it's all special ed pieces, but nothing changing in it, just a couple date pieces, and that's approving the update, the updated model, which goes along with our policy.
Any further discussion? Mr. Schenkel, can you please call the roll?
Mr. West,
Yes.
Mrs. Werke?
Yes.
Mrs. Pepperrock?
Yes.
Mr. Herrera? Yes. Mrs. Gray?
Yes. Moving on to new business G, Board of Education reports for board committee roles and liaisonships. Melissa?
Well, as always, my student achievement report is well done at the beginning of the meeting for me. And then I apologize if some of these are other things that I wrote and they are crossover of some of your other ones. So just some other good things I have read about. So we had 2 students, Emerson and Lexi, were 2 of the first board certified licensed cosmetologists that and have jobs from the Oaks. So that's part of yours. Ed Pierce is a junior and he is a rising star in esports. And he's like one of the top 100 college prospects. So, I mean, look at our esports program. Our middle school basketball are the league champs. So lots of good news there. We have Carson is won his 100th wrestling match. So lots of sports stuff. And then the Content Creators Conference is upcoming on February 21st, but it is led by, one of the workshops is co-led by a Goshen high school alumni and GNN graduate, Brenna Ashley. So, just lots of good stuff on student achievement, like, athletics and content creation and everything. So that's what you saw today. So.
Thank you, Melissa. Bill?
We have our Oaks meeting this week, so I'm not have anything there, other than the 2 that she's still not.
I know.
No, I saw that on there. That's great, though. The young ladies licensed to Oaks. Yep, that's all I have.
A lot of great things happening at the Oaks. Lisa?
Well, I get to follow up with legislative. So Governor DeWine released his budget proposal, which does include several public education issues, such as continuing the fair school funding plan and providing additional funds for bus safety grants and bus driver training. So there's going to be several budget hearings over the next few months. And so the deadline for him to sign it is June 30th. Obviously, there will be lots of changes. And then I saw that House Bill 3 was introduced on January 23rd, and that is called the School Bus Safety Act, where they're going to increase penalties for illegally passing a stopped bus, and that could include additional fines and jail time. Also, the suspension of licenses could be extended, like the amount of time for a suspended license extended. And it will create a safety fund that districts can use to improve buses in the fleet for things such as cameras, and that if they don't have them already, or lights on the bars that come out or the stop sign flashing and stuff like that, if school districts don't have those on their buses already. So that is all I have.
Thank you, Lisa. Corey?
I don't have anything.
There's one other thing I do want to mention. It's really cheap, but I just want to give a shout out to our students. Last Friday during school hours, I worked at the food pantry across the street. Mr. Huff brought a couple kids over to help us out. We had a couple people that had the flu, were shorthanded, so they made the call over here, and he brought them right over, and they were great help. I mean, they've helped previously bagging everything up. I mean, last time I was over there, it was last month, the month before last. He had a ton of kids over there helping. I mean, it's great to see them help out. Plus, they get exposure. They see people that are in need. Great things they can do for their community.
Awesome.
It's great.
Thanks for sharing. And then for me, audit and finance, we still have an upcoming meeting.
Our report should be released like anytime now.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will happen. So we'll schedule our meeting then. So
Our audit report.
yes.
And then Community and Staff Public Relations Committee, we have the upcoming Business Advisory Breakfast on February 28th. So make sure that's on your calendar if you can attend. Senior Citizens Dinner, March 20th. So for those of you who know senior citizens, make sure that you're promoting our Senior Citizens Dinner, March 20th. Goshen Education Foundation, we did have a meeting. They're part of the Red and Gray Soiree on March 29th. So if you can join for that, it's a great event that they started last year in partnership with the Alumni Association. Reminder, lots of scholarship applications are open. So if you know a senior or you know senior parents, there's a new scholarship that I shared last month with the Thousand Sons for a student who is pursuing a blue collar career path, which is really neat. Public safety scholarship that aims to kind of grow and get committed future staff employees for our EMT, fire, and police in Goshen. There's the Georgia Louisa Rise Servant's Heart Scholarship, and then our general GEF scholarships. We had an awesome meeting where teachers got to share the projects from the teacher grants. Honestly, it was so moving. So if you didn't check out kind of the post that went live on that, our teachers are doing some phenomenal things, not only in the classroom, but things that go beyond the classroom and impact our community, which is really, really neat. The annual GEF, GAB, and GAA golf outing will be July 25th, 2025. So mark your calendars
July.
now.
Did you say 25th?
25th. It's always the last Friday in July.
Same place? Snow Hill?
That hasn't been decided, but probably, yeah. They give us a great deal.
It's a beautiful place.
And then we will be putting the Boots Bourbon and Barbecue event out again, and it'll be either the first weekend or second weekend in October. That is to be determined. But
The scholarship night, what do you guys know off the top of your head? What day that is?
13th or 16th. Hold on, I have it right here.
13th.
Somebody
I'm
was-
hoping to come.
Somebody asked me today, actually.
It is May 13th at 6:30 p.m.
Let's create a scholarship, nice and generous.
Yeah. And then that's it for the Education Foundation and different committees I sit on. Any questions for anybody? Any questions? Good. All right, thank you for sharing your commitment to the board. Agenda, new business H, superintendent report, Mr. Bailey.
So just some informational state of the schools night. We're excited about it. I think I worked out a deal with Mother Nature and it's not going to snow on Thursday, so we should be good. That means we're in school on Thursday. Not tomorrow morning, looks a little shady. Business recognition breakfast, Deborah mentioned that, the 26th at 8 a.m. Should be a great morning. A lot of people are going to show up. We'll have some celebrations similar to what the kids did here, some presentations from kids and staff about what our business partners do for us and give kids the opportunities for. Southwest Region Spring Conference, you have the flyer on your table. I will just need to know who wants to go so that I can get us registered. It is at the Greene County Career Center in Xenia on March 6th from 5 to, they say 8:30. That's normally till 7.
We'll get out of there earlier than that.
That's not an 8, that's not a, yeah, it's a little shorter. So, but you guys can just let me know either now or I'll follow up.
I'll be there.
If you need. So check
Yeah,
your
I can
calendars.
go. Count me in.
They have really good food. There's kids up
Only
there, and the
master.
kids up there, they do the,
Culinary arts.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. The county's got a good culinary arts program.
Okay.
I'll follow up tentative.
Okay. And then last on their board retreat, we've set that date. In conversations, as I've started with a little bit with SHP, they're gonna do the morning of that. And we're gonna move the location. We did this a year back. We got a co-hatch, and public's still welcome, but it's really a planning, visioning meeting for the Board of Education. As we started talking about, that visioning piece, what do we want out of education? And we're gonna spend a big chunk of the morning visioning, working, making sure that our target areas, our portrait of a graduate. But we've got co-hatch, unless you guys don't want to do that. The breakout rooms and opportunities for some of that over there sets up a little bit more sometimes here. And then, working on a little bit of the afternoon just for some next steps academically. Again, that's from that side of it, it's just us planning, not real big decisions made there. It's a planning
Mason.
opportunity. It's the one in Mason.
Is it a co-hatch is a building?
Co-hatch is like a
Cooperative workspace.
Cooperative
Workspace, yeah, like you.
Yeah.
It's in
We're,
Deerfield.
we've got like a,
Multiple locations where like people who.
Rent the office by the day or
yeah,
something?
yeah. They just have some nicer, and it's nice
Nobody
just to
goes
get
on
off
Saturday.
campus and that's true. We talk about
Get a good deal.
kids and opportunities. That place presents that for us too. So if nobody's opposed to that, I'll make sure that we've got that. I'll get the information to you. Just want to have a conversation.
Good. Great interactive space.
It is. Yes. All right. And that
Anything else?
is it for me.
Any questions on any of those? All right, moving into our final item, which is executive session. I have a motion to go into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official which is for the superintendent and treasurer mid-year evaluation. And preparing for conducting and reviewing collective bargaining strategy by division that is for discussion for upcoming negotiations.
So moved.
Second.
Corey made the motion, Bill second. Do we have any discussion? There will be no action coming out of executive session for those who are in attendance, so you can stay if you'd like, but we will take no action. Mr. Schenkel, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Werke,
Yes.
Mrs. Paprocki,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mrs. Gray,
Yes.
Mr. West.
Yes.
All right. Where are we headed?